So I'm a little bit worried. um, we are looking to the west here in Norway. Well, all of Europe is looking to the west now and shaking their heads because we are witnessing quite disturbing behavior, and it's childlike behavior. Um, uh, it's like, yeah, okay. So I'm going to talk about Trump and Mercado. She won the Nobel's Peace Prize, and Trump said that he wanted a medal. And apparently, during the meeting yesterday, she gave him the medal. Um, and she has expressed her. Um, be, she said that she's been very thankful for what Trump has done in Venezuela. But it is the behavior that worries me, because this is childlike behavior. It's like what you say to the kid who loses in a sports event, and then that kid start having a tantrum and demanding to have the gold medal, even though that child did not win the competition. What do you call that? I mean, you have to speak to that child and try to explain that how it works, But we're talking about the president of the USA here, and this worries me because it's not, it's not adult behavior. It's not how adults behave. It just isn't. And when we're talking about, we often say the most powerful man on the planet, that's the president of the USA. I don't think that's necessarily true, but at least I I think he's lost the plot now, and I'm saying that as someone who supported the presidency of Trump during his first term, and I'll have to underline that, the first term. And I don't. This is like, I don't know what to say. What do you guys think? I mean, it's like you can disagree with who gets the Nobel's Peace Prize. Typical example is that Obama got the Nobel's Peace Prize, and that was. I don't think many people support that, and I think that that was wrong. But demanding to get the gold medal, it's like it, it's not like that means that he got a peace prize. It's just a piece of, I don't know if it's gold. Uh, it doesn't matter. I mean, he's very rich, obviously. So, but he got the medal. What's he going to do with the medal? Is he parading around in the White House wearing nothing but socks and that gold medal? I mean, what's going on there? This this is this is the behavior of a spoilt brat. It just is. And at this point, we do get people who are sometimes ready to defend Trump in everything that he's doing in the chat here. But how can you support this behavior? Please let me know. Is there something I don't understand here? Uh, Please let me know. Um, it is at the point now where I think that, and I've been thinking this for quite some time, he's kind of lost the plot now. And that worries me because I don't think Trump is that bad. I actually don't think so. Um, I think the people that is surrounding him now are no good for anyone or anything. That's what I think. I think J.D. Vance is a catastrophe for the world, and I think that a lot of the other people there, they should never have been in politics. They should never have been in positions like that. And I hate to say this, but I think we're looking at a weak president now. Weak in the sense that he's not really right. He's not quite there. He's not really in charge of things. That's what I think. So he gets to do things like this, give me your medal, it's mine. I should have won the medal. Give me your medal. This makes Trump a figure, a figure that we laugh about. This makes, well, American politics, what do you call it, a laughing stock of the entire Western world. It and I hate that because I don't think that the USA deserve that. The people in the USA, they do not deserve that. Um, yeah, I have checked it. Yeah, you saw Voyager Country, so headline. Yeah, it seems to be true. Yeah, she apparently gave him the medal, and it's like Machado. Was that her? It's very early here. Is that her name? Machado. Let me know if I got it all mixed up. It, when you do things like that, you're not really in your mind is kind of it's kind of gone. It's not um, it's not quite there. And I think that must be understood at this point. And I think it must be understood that other people are in the administration. Other people are kind of pulling the strings and probably making decisions now. So, and that worries me because there are some really extreme people there. Yeah. And I've said it before. I think Christian nationalism is far stronger in the makeup of the present administration in the USA than people previously realized. I did not realize it before. Well, I should have realized that sooner, I think. But we can all, I think it's important that when we are presented with new information that conflicts with what we thought was true, then we must change our minds. I think that's very important. If we didn't, we would still believe in Santa Claus and so on. You know. So yeah, I'm a bit frustrated because this is what happens when you see behavior like that among state leaders. This doesn't matter. It doesn't change any things in real life. But it does something about with the reputation of the administration in the USA. It makes people disrespect the USA as a country when the president does something like that. And I think it's unfair because the people in the USA do not deserve that. Um, I don't think so. But this is what happens. And it's ironic because they're always, Trump and his people are always talking about, oh, now the world is respecting the USA again, or he says America. Now, there are many countries in the Americas, of course, but maybe not in the minds of these people. But it is the opposite that's happening now. We're not respecting this, we are laughing at it. And everyone should laugh at something like that. Um, it's almost unimaginable, this behavior. And I honestly think it's the behavior of someone who's not intellectually um, where he used to be. I think it has to do maybe even with some age-related issues. And, you know, we're going to um, we're going to respond to some of the trolls here. We always get some trolls when I talk about this. Um, but I won't spend a lot of time on that. Someone saying that it's okay if I don't respect it because I can't vote. Well, I can vote. I'm a Norwegian, and we have a democracy here. Now, let's see here. What will the Vikings do? Yeah, we get that some of the time. Um, and it's benign. It's a benign comment, I guess, but it's not very relevant if you know a little bit about history. But it's okay to ask, it's okay. But I don't see a reason to answer to that question. Some people they use that to. I'm not saying Order 7773. I'm not saying you were doing this, but some people they say like, oh, I thought you were a Viking. Are you not good? And this and that, and then they add something to that, which is supposed to be a great argument. It's not. I'm not a Viking. That's quite illegal. Yeah, you can try to be a Viking and see how long it takes before you are behind bars. It was a different time 1,000 years ago. um, I don't want to get into Greenland either. So I'm going to talk about that fucking medal, because it's that's in the title and that's what I want to talk about. And yeah, how long can we talk about that? No, it's of course just a symptom of something else going on there. And they're going to try to spin this. They're going to try to say, if they haven't already, that Machado gave the medal to Trump because she thinks that Trump should have the medal. He should have won the Nobel's Peace Prize. Now, I actually think, I will say this, that when it comes to Ukraine, I don't think the Trump administration has done a good job at all. I think they have done a bad job. But I think it would have been much closer to a nuclear war if the Democrats had won the presidential election in the USA. I might be wrong, but if I had to bet, that would be how I would be betting. Now, when it comes to Venezuela, now it's because this is what this is about, okay? Mahado, she gave him. I think she gave him the medal just as a diplomatic um, thing. She hopes to be in the new government in Venezuela. That's what she hopes. And I think that she will have to wait for quite a while. Um, she can give away the medal. What does it matter? If you have a childish brat as president in the USA, as we apparently have now, yeah, give him the medal, make him happy. If that saves lives in Venezuela, if that can further the cause of democracy in Venezuela, yeah, give him the medal. You know, let him have the medal. As I said, let him parade around in the corridors of the mighty, wearing nothing but that medal and socks. Um, but the thing about Venezuela is that, there has been no regime change in Venezuela. You have an occupation, and they, of course, arrested the president who was not voted for. Well, he lost the election, and he was probably quite involved in the drugs, all of those crimes. So yeah, Eugene is lecturing me on how I should pronounce that name. Okay, but the thing is that Machado will not be in a government in Venezuela in not this year, not next year. Um, it will take a long time. And I don't think that the current administration in the USA is interested in a regime change in Venezuela. They are just interested in having a somewhat stable situation there and controlling the oil resources. That's what it's about. So, um, yeah, is there anyone at all? I'm just curious who are in support of Trump getting the medal, like what happened now. Uh, anyone can anyone explain to me why that is fair or good in any uh, I mean, because I think I can't understand it, and it's like, well, I can understand it, of course, because of, talking about someone who's not really a mature person, but uh, I've been I have a sports background. I am doing sports. I am competing in powerlifting, and imagine if you didn't win, and you felt, oh, that was unfair because the judges voted your squat as shallow or something like that, and then you demanded to get the gold medal from the winner. Imagine that. You would be just People would just laugh at you, as they should. Um, yeah, Voyager Country says it's not like the Nobel Book of Record has gone and crossed out her name and wrote his name in. Yeah, they said that's their statement. The Nobel Peace Prize Committee is in Norway, actually, and they say that it doesn't change anything if someone gives away the medal. You can't give away the Nobel Peace Prize. So she gave away a piece of metal. That's all. Um, yeah, well, if you get comments blocked here, that's not us, unless you're being abusive, you know. Um, but YouTube will do that. YouTube's AI will do that sometimes. I can't do anything about it. Um, Adam says he stopped prevented eight wars, the definition of peace. He deserves the award. Um, well, that's one way to look at it. The current administration has also, yeah, I won't go there. Let's stick to the topic. This is, yeah, let's see here. Yeah, Joe says Obama won the Nobel and he was a war criminal too. The prize is obviously not awarded for peace. I tend to agree with that. Many of those who have received the Nobel Peace Prize have not been about peace at all. Lucy says, I saw Don's Peace Medal and had a good laugh about it. He's a maniac. Well, yeah, okay. Let's talk about Greenland then a little bit. Yes, since you're asking, a lot of people are asking. Yeah, the Europeans, the Nordics are sending troops there. That is true, and equipment. This is, of course, symbolic. If you have read in the news that Norway is sending soldiers or personnel to Greenland, two people. Two people. They've sent two people there. But that's just to apparently to have a look of what's needed. And then, of course, I guess more people will be sent there, and equipment, weapons. It's symbolic because it's just about showing the USA that they can't take Greenland without a fight. Um, you know, and I don't think there will be a fight. But I have been thinking about this a little bit. Greenland. A little bit, to say the least. um, Here's how the USA could get Greenland and make Greenland a state in the USA. Here's how that could happen. Let's say they issue a statement. So the administration, the government in the USA, they issue the following statement. Every single person on Greenland gets $1 million. $1 million. What would then happen is the following. Maybe, I don't know, but maybe. You would have one party either being established or one already established political party saying the following: vote for us, and we will have two referendums if we get the majority. The first one will be about independence from Denmark, and the second one will be about becoming a part of the USA. And that party would get the majority of the votes because everyone wants $1 million. And that's how it could go. So it's really that simple. If every Greenlander gets 1 million, $1 million. Isn't that 57 billion? If 57,000 times 1 million, 57 billion. Yeah, that's a lot of money. But I think they have that amount. They can spend that amount of money. That's how you can do it. And it's like it's not impossible. And I think that you have grown-ups in the American government that understands they understand these numbers, and they will probably say that, listen, if we give them such an offer, um, it's cheaper than a breakup of NATO. Because mind you, if NATO breaks apart, the USA would lose all their military bases in Europe. You know, that's not good for the USA at all. They would lose weapons deals with Europe and many other. They will also have many other losses, I imagine. Yeah. So here's the other issue. Of course, they can just print that money, and making the dollar worth less. I don't know how much that would affect the value of dollar. Uh, I don't know. You know, Yuval says, "How can I get a Greenland passport?" Yeah, I think you're not the only one thinking thinking that. So I identify as a Greenlander. Yes, yes. So it's not like impossible. They could do it. And Kat says, we never paid. Trump made a career of never paying people. It's his gig. Yeah. I honestly don't know what's going to happen there, but I think that a military invasion is unlikely. Knock wood, you know. So I did see a crazy number. What was it? 5,000 5,000 billion that they were prepared to actually offer 5,000 billion for Greenland. And it was at least it said that that's half the defense budget of the USA. I don't know, maybe in 1 year, I guess. So it's like, yeah, the money is there, and it's going to be difficult to keep the opinion away from people wanting to become part of the USA if everyone gets $1 million. Just think about it. You can live off of that for the rest of your life. Now, what I will say is that on Greenland, they have some social problems, alcoholism, drugs, and actually violence. What do you call it when you have violence in the family? And I think that you would see a lot of people just sinking even deeper into alcoholism and all sorts of problems if they are just given money, and that amount of money. So I think that would be a catastrophe to the people there. But domestic violence, yes, yes. Um, yeah. Yeah, Kat says, have you ever been to a Native American reservation? I haven't, but that's what I was thinking about. Uh, yeah, let's see here. A lot of people have opinions about this. What I will say about Greenland is that, my opinion on this. I really hope that the USA is the administration in the USA gets to their senses and they start understanding that this is not needed. None of this is needed. And I have looked into this and I've started to think that it's not about, obviously, not about the military presence. That's just a lie. Um, it's not crawling with Russian and Chinese warships up there. That's not true. Um, it could be about the minerals, as because of the global warming, the ice cap is retreating, and more of those will be easily accessible. Those minerals, rare earth minerals, in the future. Even though the same people, they are denying that there is global warming. Isn't that funny? It's funny how that works. But they know that we have global warming. But I don't think that's the reason either. I think it's ideological. I think it's ideological. And that's quite rare to see these days in politics, because it seems to always be about money and positioning yourself and resources. So my guess is that this is largely driven by ideology. And then you have to look into things like Christian nationalism and imperialism. And it's basically in the slogan, America First. And I thought, oh, well, yeah, well, that makes sense. America First. Yeah, the president should think about his citizens first, right? I didn't really consider that, oh, apparently it means that America first in the world. America will take what it wants, like other countries, and so on. I didn't really think that was what it means, but apparently it is. Adam says, I mean, the Viking guy talking about imperialism and colonialism. Yeah, you have to kind of leave that a little bit now. It's not a good argument you have there. So, mm, yeah, well, the Greenlanders have spoken. Yes, we have to mention that. They are not in favor of becoming a part of the USA. But would that change if everyone was offered $1 million? I don't know. What do you think? Where's the global seed bank? Well, it's on Svalbard, which is part of Norway, and which would be probably at least Russia would at least consider occupying Svalbard if the USA occupies Greenland. Yeah. Um, it's not much, 1 million these days, free of taxes. Well, I don't know. You can live off of $1 million if you not if you spend it on vodka, but if you invest and you're smart about it, of course you can live off of $1 million. Yeah. So, um, Mike is asking if it would be wise for the for U.S. representatives to meet with Denmark, talking about purchasing only a portion of Greenland for military purposes. No, I think the answer would be no, and they've already said that. They have also said that if you want more military presence on Greenland, you are welcome to have that. And the USA had several military bases there. They could build those up again. Um, yeah. So, okay. Only thing to come out of Denmark is Lego and bacon. Yeah, Denmark is a wonderful country. I've been there many times. The Danish people are very nice, and they are. Um, yeah, I like the Danes. I like the Danes. So, okay, the Greenlanders have spoken. Respect them. Absolutely, we should. We must. Audrey says, Adam, we're not living in the Viking age. That is true. And by the way, concerning the Vikings, I think that people have a very simplified image in their heads when they think about the Vikings. They were, listen, they were just people. They were not Superman. They were not, they were just people, okay? And they were not really that different from the other ethnic groups in Northern Europe at that time. Um, so, yeah, you know, the Danish are a lot like the Dutch. Well, uh, maybe not the same. Why don't you think the reason for a potential invasion is rare minerals? Well, Laura, I think because they could mine for rare minerals without talking about um, invasion, and they don't have to do that on Greenland. I saw listened to a guy who was apparently an expert on this, I think, and he said that it's not that easily accessible because it is under the ice, right? Um, so it will be accessible in the future, but we're talking many years from now, decades possibly. And why are they stressing about this now then, when we're talking decades? You know, and there are other places that should be much more, or it should be easier, much easier to dig for those rare minerals. You know which country is actually going to be apparently a rare minerals superpower, financial superpower in the future. Sweden. Sweden. I just recently found out Sweden has a lot of that. Now, it must be mentioned concerning Greenland that I really hope they don't start drilling there. I really hope that the present administration in the USA, that they don't get what they want there, because it's a wilderness. It is fragile, and I would hate to see it destroyed. Well, Sweden, what do they have? Why do they have rare minerals, rare earth minerals? Yeah. So, okay, that's basically what I wanted to say today. I wanted to talk about the medal, and I think Trump has lost the plot a little bit. It's not good. Not good. This news now, just I couldn't sleep. I have a bit of insomnia, so I was up. I've been up all night basically, and I just saw this, and it will be ridiculed during the day now when people wake up. No, I talked about Trump. He said, "I want the Nobel Peace Prize medal," and Machado. She was there visiting, and she apparently gave him the medal. And now Trump is parading around with that medal, which is the behavior of a 5-year-old spoilt brat. Honestly, you know. Um, and it must be embarrassing to people in the USA. Free loving says you are too out of touch. Machado, or whatever it is adored by the world now. So you think that she's adored by the world because she gave away the medal to Trump? Okay. Yeah, well, you're free to believe that I am out of touch, but maybe some people would say that about your position, your position to this, maybe. Um, yeah. No. Yeah, it was exactly. I was going to say exactly the same there. No, it's laughable. But I don't think Machado is a fool. I think that she did this as a diplomatic gesture because she needs to. Well, the medal means nothing. The medal is just a piece of metal. Um, you know, that's what I think. So make him happy and give him that medal. You know. I will just finish this live stream with a little story from powerlifting. I was not there at on that occasion, but there was this Norwegian lifter, an older guy actually. He basically he thought that he should have won the competition. He got the silver, I believe, medal, but he thought that he should have won. So he went to the judges after the competition, and he made such a nuisance. He was so he wouldn't leave the room, and at the end they just found a gold medal, and they gave him the gold medal just to get rid of him. Um, and that guy was always remembered for that after that. And he kind of destroyed his reputation in powerlifting doing that, you know? Um, and that's what people think, you know. Yeah, that's all for now. Um, what's next in the news? What's next? Um, actually, I will mention that on my main channel, it is linked to in the video description. Um, so that will be, if you are in North America, so that will be, well, it's on Saturday this week. I will have a video about Greenland that you might find interesting. Okay. Wonderful. Have a nice day.